Hello, beautiful souls. I've been thinking today about what I want to share with you, and I've decided to share some things out of my book, Conversations with a Tree. And you will have noticed that at the beginning I have my little promo and call myself a nature communicator. And the reason I've chosen that is because this book, Conversations with a Tree, was written when I was sitting at the base of a hemlock tree one day and knew beyond any doubt that she was asking me to be her scribe. And even though I've been channeling for years, this was back in 2012, and I'd been channeling for many years before that, I never thought to ask a tree for information. This tree asked me to be her scribe, much to my surprise. And what I've realized since then is I'm able to tune into plants, people who have house plants, and I'm going to start offering this as one of my services, is that I can connect in with trees on your property or plants that you have in the home and just let you know what the messages are for them. I did this for a friend yesterday and it was so beautiful and loving. This plant was just so happy to be with her, and she's a yoga instructor and she started offering her yoga online because people can't gather now. And this plant was telling me that it loved being in front of the camera, so it's in the background when she's doing her yoga. There was something about the computer that it also loved. It was quite surprising. So we never know what gifts that we are giving to the plants in our home, and of course the gifts that they are bringing us. And absolutely, the reason I'm sharing this at this time is because as we're all so isolated in this pandemic, it's really valuable for us to get outside and be connected to nature. And I know some places where people are living, you're not allowed to even be outside and be in parks and that kind of thing because people were not distancing themselves. But if you can get out and go for a drive, even if it takes you 2 hours to get out of the city you're living in and you find yourself in the country, just seeing the scenery is going to benefit you. Studies have shown that people in hospitals, when they can look outside their window and see a tree or see some greenery, that they actually recover faster, and they report that their experience was more pleasant, if being in the hospital could be pleasant. Their experience was less disturbing than people who didn't have that. And it shows that people who have plants in offices have less stress, there's less sick time. There is so much scientific evidence about the benefits of nature. And I believe that that's what this virus is in a sense all about, that we are being called back to the land. We've strayed as far as we can by being in our technology and having our heads buried in our phones all the time and disconnected from the earth that is the very essence of our life. Gaia is what keeps us alive, and we have disconnected ourselves from that. And so I'm going to share some things from my book today, and I may even call upon Gaia, do some channeling for Gaia, or ask her to influence some light language for us. So I just want to encourage you to really get yourself connected to nature. It will help alleviate loneliness and depression, and it will actually help make your physical body feel better. So I'll start with back in 2012 when I was writing this, in the years leading up to that. Every morning I would go into meditation and offer healing to the earth and use sound as part of that healing. And at the end of that, poetry would come through. And so I'm going to read a couple of poems that are in the book that came from that time of meditation. The first one is called Life is Precious. Oh, dear brethren, as you walk upon this land, do you not feel the responsibility that lies beneath each step? We are one with the land. Each breath is sourced from the earth. Your disease is an extension of your ill intent. Free yourself from your pain. Connect again with the source of your life. Be kind to your earthly mother. Send her your love every day. Feel gratitude for the privilege to walk upon her shores at this time, for life is precious. Find the sacredness in your existence so that we may flourish. And there's two statements in there that really stand out for me right now. The first is that your disease is an extension of your ill intent. And I believe very much that ill intent is the way that we've treated the earth, which is the source of our life on this planet. And we are ripping her apart with no regard whatsoever for our role and our responsibility as being stewards of the land. Find the sacredness in your existence so that we may flourish. Sorry, I didn't think it would affect me this way. So we have to come back home to appreciating that it is a privilege to be on the earth and that we have a responsibility here. And it is in caring for the earth that we will survive. And she's showing us right now how quickly she can bring us to our knees. And for most of humanity, it takes something to knock us to our knees. We don't go willingly and move into prayer and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for this gift and all we have. We have to have something pulled out from under us to remind us how connected we really are to the earth and how vulnerable we are to who she is. There's a love note, I would love to find it again, that I did years ago, and it's a picture of people in a dinghy, so one of those rubber boats, and they're in the ocean, and it looks as though they're whale watching. In front of them is this huge whale's tail that makes that boat full of people look like a speck of sand on the beach. And I'm sure they were terrified because this whale was maybe 10, 12 feet from their boat. They were very vulnerable in that moment. And what I said on that love note is how quickly the earth can show us who's in charge. And it would do us well to recognize our role and come back to loving her, which is truly, truly loving ourselves. And there's another poem that I will share. This one is called From Mother Earth. Come before me, little child. Come before me. How can you think you have dominion over me? Just try to imagine your size compared to mine. You are a small speck upon my vast land, yet I respect you. I give life to you. I am patient with you as I wait for you to understand. We are here together. We are one with each other. And though your presence could be lost in my vast land, it is not. Every footstep is marked. Every loving thought received as it nourishes me. Your presence is great. Please remember, your presence is great. So even though she could slough us off in a moment, she doesn't want to. She wants us to know how connected we are to her and how important we are to her. And so in this time, as I said, I feel like it's so important for us to take this time where we are all on pause, where we have this opportunity to come back to ourselves and come back to recognizing what is truly important in the world. It's not all our activities, it's not our technology, it's our connection to ourselves, to each other, and to this planet that we live on. And in times like this, where so many people are showing the love that lives within humanity and doing all that they can to support others, that we see the beauty of who we are and the beauty of us coming together. And we also see those who are in fear, who I feel are so disconnected from what really is important in life. And some of this will speak to that as well. So I'm going to share another passage. This is from the tree Henrietta. Love is the key to all creation. Creation is love, made to reflect love out into the world, to each other. Love all around. Love cannot heal if people do not let it in. The power of love can conquer all, but it takes a willing heart, one that has recognized that love brings life and is the true place of power. I love that statement, that love is the true place of power. Evil has no power over love. If you only knew that, you would laugh at the folly that you have lived, letting fear hold you back for so long. This is a reason to love the self. Step into your power of being love and stand strong in the light of love, like a warrior for spirit. Strong are they who feel so much love from the divine that they are invincible. They are invincible not because the physical body cannot be harmed, but because the spirit cannot be harmed. When you realize this, you carry the strength of love and your life changes. Gone are the days of holding fearful thoughts. They are replaced with a knowing of the power that love brings. And I feel a transition in myself with this, that evil has no power over love. There was a time when I would connect with some of the beliefs that are going about, even with this coronavirus and the conspiracy theories about what it's all about. And I wouldn't spend much time with it, but I would check in on it and just see what people were saying and have an awareness of it. And recently I've realized I have no thoughts or opinions about anything that's happening in this virus. I'm just present with what is in my life experience, and that's it. I don't know anything else truly about it. I don't know how it was created. I don't know if there's a reason it was created. And I was speaking to someone recently who shared with me some of the conspiracy theories that are going around. And it's interesting because before I was connecting with this person, I went out for a walk and I was feeling great before I went for my walk. And I got back about 20 minutes before the two of us were to connect, and I started to feel very tired. It was just out of the blue. And then when we connected, that information was shared with me, and I immediately felt the heaviness of that information. And I asked this person, I said, in the past I've been interested in this, but I realize now I'm at the state where I don't want to hear that information anymore. And then I started yawning in our conversation, which happens when I'm clearing. And what I realized speaks to what this message is about, that evil has no power over love, that in my intention of moving up in the frequencies and taking advantage of all the energy that is here for us to increase our vibration and our frequency, which elevates our consciousness, which is what ascension really is about, I'm always holding the intention that I am clearing the debris of the past and elevating my frequency. And I realize that I'm in the place of so much love that I don't have any thought systems that connect with these conspiracy theories or this evil. And that my vibration, because of that, has increased again. And that's why I was clearing for this other person, because that information held a density that I was, just in the matter of our conversation, clearing for that person as we were in conversation. I'm sharing this because this is the opportunity that we are in right now. This is where we're supposed to be right now. This virus had to happen because we have been staying in the past, staying in the lower frequencies in a sense with our thoughts and with where our focus is, instead of going in and doing our internal work that is required for us to elevate our frequency and rise into these higher energies. And so this virus is really forcing us to have this downtime, and it's an advantage. So please take advantage of this and look honestly within at how you're feeling about everything, and be real with yourself about your fears, because we can't ascend while we're in fear. We're not in the frequency of the higher vibrations that are available to us now if we're in fear. So that's not to judge you for having fear. It's to tell you that fear is an opportunity to look in and see what's really going on within, so that you can come back to that place of being in total love and knowing love so deeply that there's nothing to fear anymore. And I'm having my own challenges in this time. The number of people who are choosing my services has dropped, and so I'm being affected the same way everyone is. There is no fear within me whatsoever. I trust and know that this is delivering the highest and best for all of us, and that we are in this together. This virus is certainly showing us that we are in this together. We are one nation of people that we call humanity. And we are meant to rise up together and to lovingly support one another, and instead of judging other people who live and think differently than we do, to do what we can to project love to them so that they can feel that love and find their way out of their own hardship and despair. So I will finish with one more little piece from this book, Conversations with a Tree. And this one again just speaks to, I think, what we've lost with our disconnection from the earth and the invitation to come back. So once I was asked to be a scribe for this tree, I bought a special journal and went back almost every day for the rest of that year. And the friendship grew so deeply. After one message, I was walking away from her and just sent her appreciation, and I felt so much love coming to me. And our chakras, we receive from the back and give to the front. And I received in the back of my heart chakra so much love that I was moved to tears. This is the love that was coming from a tree. It's the same love I feel from the guides when they move me to tears with the love that they have for me. So I want you to know that that's available. It is available, and if you go out into the forest and out into nature and just send appreciation to everything in nature. Before I share this piece, I'll share a little story about how that can work. I was offering a workshop in the city of Toronto in Canada one time, and I'm not a city person, as you may guess. I love nature, and I usually love to live in a more rural setting or a smaller community. And some acquaintances of mine had offered to let me stay at their home, which was very gracious, and I had no idea where they lived. I'd never been there before. And when I got there, they were living in this very nice neighborhood where people took very good care of their lawns, and people had flowers planted everywhere, and it was the summertime and everything was in bloom. And so when I was there, every day I would go for a walk, and I would just walk around the block, around the neighborhood. And I was so grateful because I wasn't sure what it was going to be like to be in the city. So I was so grateful for all the flowers and the trees, and I was expressing my gratitude. I talk to the trees as if they're people, and I say, "Oh, look at you, you're so beautiful." And one day I was doing this, and I felt very emotional, like I was moved to tears, and I found that really peculiar because I was feeling so good. And then the next day I went out and was doing the same thing, and again moved to tears, and I thought, what's going on? And then immediately I was told that I was giving so much appreciation to all the flowers and the trees around me that they were loving me back, and those tears were actually the love that they were sending me, because it meant so much to them to be appreciated. So now I will share this piece. So one day I was visiting Henrietta and just connecting with her, and she said, "This is a day of great magnitude on your earth." And so when she said that, I thought there might be some planetary alignment happening or something, so I was anxious to hear what she had to say. And then she went on. "The sun is shining brightly, unhindered by the clouds. The breeze blows through the leaves as they sway and flutter with appreciation. The shadows play upon your paper as the pen glides. This is the poetry of nature. ever changing, ever growing, and ever evolving. So, you humans who read these words, bring yourself to us. Allow us to merge with you, even for a moment. Do not come to feel sorry for us. We are at peace. Come to feel that peace. Come to rest in the love we have to offer. It will open your heart so that you may find that peace within yourself. And that in itself was a teaching, that it's a grand day. And why is it grand? Because the leaves are fluttering in delight at the breeze, and the sun is shining brightly upon my skin. These are the things that bring the magic back in our lives. This is what our hearts are missing. This is why we are feeling so disconnected from each other. Because we've disconnected ourselves from that. So I'm going to leave it here. Obviously, this matters to me very deeply, and I've had people expressing to me that I could be sharing more of this connection with nature. Hopefully, the more I do it, the less emotional I will be about it. So, if your heart is feeling empty and if you're feeling lonely, go find a tree, go connect with nature. Even if you can only do it in your car and you roll down the windows and feel the breeze blowing through the car, it can be a magical moment. Let it touch your heart, for there's healing there for sure. I'll put a link below for conversations with a tree. So much love and wisdom in this book. And I am offering so much love to you all. Be well.